Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sitdown. All right, this is a review that is way overdue, man. I sound like a horse, you idiot. I'm sorry. Oh, man, it's been a day. It's been a week. Heck, it's been a long little stretch, man. The holiday is so jam-packed with family and friends and parties and food and gifts. For the Seaman, lots and lots of movies. And this is a movie that came out a while back that I missed, yet I was crushing when I went, man. The theater was sold out. I did not expect that to happen at all with this movie. But, I mean, I understand why, because if you haven't seen it, you should go see it because it's phenomenal, and it's definitely going to be in all the award season talk. What are we talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair? Take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into Ford v. Ferrari. That's right, man. The story of Carroll Shelby and Ken Miles coming together to work with Ford to build a race car that could beat Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Now, Le Mans is a racetrack in France, and this back in the day, they used to do a lot of these 24-hour, type races. They do one at Daytona, which was just a circular lap, and this one involves country roads and stuff. And at the time, Ford was in a lot of trouble, and their marketing team was like, if we could win Le Mans, that would be a boost, man. Because look at Ferrari. Like, he's, just sinks all the money into these cars. They do great at all these races, and, people love Ferraris. That'll always be looked at as the number one sports car. Let's get in on that. And thus came the GT. And it's just a riveting story, and having James Mangold be the one at the helm directing this bad boy with Christian Bale as Ken Miles, who is just a wildly entertaining personality, at least as far as what's portrayed on the screen, which is perfect for Bale. And Matt Damon, who plays the straight guy real well as Carroll Shelby. And that's just a combination that was never going to lose. Mangold does such a good job of making this story compelling start to finish, man. Like, he gets his hooks in you early, and he just pulls and digs them deeper and deeper in, and you love every minute of it, baby. This thing, like I said, the story is gripping, and it's because the two lead characters are so interesting, and you come to like them so quickly because of, the performances that you're getting. Like, they immediately grab your attention, pull you in, and you're like, I'm with these two guys. I'm rooting for these two guys. And from that point on, man, Mangold just pushes this thing where it's just constantly building. The camera work is fantastic. The action is great. The car driving sequences are just fantastic. The sound design, unbelievable, man. The way Mangold and this team kind of use sound to guide the camera to the cuts as, they're shifting gears, as they're waiting, as you're going back and forth between Damon and Bale, waiting for that perfect moment to now hit it and make that move. It's just so visually stimulating and gripping that you can't take your eyes off this thing at all. And as I said, when you have two leads like Damon and Bale leading this thing, you are in really good hands. And Damon, like I said, plays the straight guy really well, man. Carroll Shelby, former racer, one of the only Americans to have ever won at Le Mans, and then suffers a heart condition and, kind of has to retire, and he goes into making cars. And along the way, he meets Ken Miles, who's a race car driver, kind of this journeyman, who's a mechanic, and, together they kind of build the cars and race the cars. Miles isn't just the racer. He helps build the cars. He knows the cars. And the way Miles knows the cars is so important to the story. And that's shown and expressed so clearly and so well that, like, you just can totally understand why Miles is such a good driver, because the way he knows the car, the way him and Shelby work, the way their team works. And if Shelby is the straight man, Miles is the guy who's a loose cannon, man, and his personality is fantastic. He talks to himself, he talks to the car. So during those driving sequences, when usually it's really quiet, or maybe you're hearing inner monologue, you're hearing Miles talk to himself or talk to the racers that are next to him, or talk, and it adds entertainment to just the sequences of him driving, where you're not coming back to things that are happening in the pit or at Ford or whatever is going on during the races. But the humor, man. Bale makes you laugh so much because of such a firecracker that he is. The personality just exudes out, and it is so much fun to watch. You could tell Bale was having a good time, cracking jokes, being witty, being smarter than everybody else in the room when he needs to be. Just being this loose cannon, and it creates interesting parts of the story as far as his relationship with Ford and where Ford was. And then when you give these to the supporting cast that they have, Catriona Balfe, who plays Ken Miles' wife, fantastic, man. The way she enters the movie is just wonderful. It totally gives you an idea of what their relationship is like, and Balfe's and Bale's chemistry on camera is really, really good, that you dig all the stuff that's going on with them. And what's really cool is his son, Peter Miles, played by Noah Jupe. Very, very integral, just as integral as the wife is to Ken Miles' story. He's around for all sorts of stuff, and watching the movie from his vantage point sometimes, watching his dad be the racer, be the guy that wins, and the lessons that he's teaching them, the personal moments that Miles has with both his wife and his son are some of the best moments in the movie, and Jupe and Balfe are really, really good. Throw in, you got Tracy Letts playing Henry Ford II. He's fantastic, and the rivalry that he has with Enzo Ferrari, played by Remo Guarone, without ever meeting each other, man. These two physically never meet. They I think maybe see each other once at from a distance, but the rivalry and the hatred and how that happens and all of that occurs, really, really interesting. And Letts is just fantastic as Ford, man. He's a no-nonsense kind of guy, and that creates really, really awesome interactions with Damon Shelby. They have a moment together in a car that's amazing, and just the interactions between those two. While you're getting the family stuff with Miles, you're getting all the business stuff with Shelby, and I love all his interactions with Letts, as well as John Bernthal, who plays Lee Iacocca, and Josh Lucas, who plays Leo Beebe. Because there's a rivalry between Miles and Beebe and Shelby, so that's really interesting with Lucas. But Bernthal and Lucas as a combo, Lucas is kind of, I think, the VP of something or other. He's like the second in command, essentially, to Ford, and Bernthal is like the head of marketing. Their interactions and the way they kind of function along with those Shelby scenes, really, really good. So, I mean, it's an outstanding cast. It's a really riveting story, and the action is just shot so well for a racing movie. This is some of the best racing stuff I've gotten in a while, because it's interesting, and the way it's shot, the way the story's told, the way they use Miles, sound design, the score just grips you and pushes you. You're always being pushed. You're never slowing down. You're never going backwards. This thing is always moving forward at 7,000 RPMs. You'll understand what that means after you watch the movie, man. But it's so good. And you can understand why people were going to see this movie when it came out, have been talking about it since, why people are still going to see this movie, and why it's going to compete at all the award shows. Mangold just delivers a rock-solid film that's technically sound, it's interesting, and it's riveting. And you have performances from Bale and Damon that are just top-end with a solid supporting cast. It's a no-brainer, man, to check out this movie, especially if you're a racing fan or if you're just a fan of acting and good film. This is a fantastic movie. I loved Ford v Ferrari. Well worth the wait. Should have gone and seen it when it first came out. Wish I would have had the time to, but certainly loved it. Every second of it, even though, I had waited so long. So there you go, man. Those are all the Seaman's thoughts on Ford v Ferrari. 2 thumbs up from him. Definitely going to be in the conversation when we get to the top 10. But like I said, I love this movie. I highly recommend it. You should go check it out if you haven't. And if you haven't, you should let me know if you want to check it out. Did the Seaman entice you? I hope he did, man, because this is a really good movie. And if you saw it, I want to know what you're thinking, man. Hit those comments down below. Let me know what was working, what wasn't working. Is this one of your favorite films of the year? Is it just another, whatever, it was good. Whatever you're thinking, man. What sequences were your favorite? They did some really interesting stuff with the cars, the way they're kind of built and worked on, and the racing. So all that stuff is interesting. If that was intriguing to you, if it was the performances, if it was the direction, sound design, whatever you were digging about this movie, please let all that down below in the comments, as well as anything you weren't digging. And if you were digging me, please give me a thumbs up. And if you do, you want to come hang out with the old Seaman anytime we're talking movies, You know what to do, man. You gotta come join the Cinema Sit Down Squad. Hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, get your alerts, be the first to see man, content, and come join the party, man. We're always having a good time over here talking movies and television. So, until next time, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace! Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down Squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.